It took Journey nearly a decade to find a lead singer who truly resonated with their legacy. During that uncertain time, many fans openly questioned whether Arnel Pineda was the right choice to carry the band forward. I remember that period vividly. Back in the 1980s, I was battling drug addiction, and I knew all too well the feeling of losing something you once held dear. That same sense of fading connection loomed over the band. By 2007, Journey had become a shadow of its former glory. The group that had once sold out arenas worldwide was now struggling to remain relevant in a music scene increasingly dominated by younger artists and shifting tastes. The departure of Steve Perry, their iconic frontman, had left a void that seemed impossible to fill. Much of the magic seemed to vanish without him. The electric energy that once thrilled tens of thousands now felt hollow. Concert attendance dropped dramatically, venues sat half empty, and longtime fans began drifting away in disappointment. Attempts to revive the spark with new frontmen like Steve Augury and Jeff Scott Soto fell flat. Their newer albums barely made a dent on the charts, while their classic hits survived only through nostalgic spins on aging rock radio stations. Critics began asking the tough question, could Journey ever reclaim its former glory without Steve Perry? Neil Schon, the band's founding guitarist since 1973, bore the weight of their decline. Reflecting on that era, he confessed in an interview, "There were guys being pitched to us, people from LA and New York who had done the classic rock thing for years, and I just wasn't moved." As 2007 approached, Journey stood at a crossroads, reinvent themselves or quietly fade into rock history. One night, drained and in search of inspiration, Schon turned to YouTube, watching countless covers of Journey songs. Most were forgettable, until one left him stunned. A Filipino singer named Arnel Pineda, fronting a Manila-based cover band called The Zoo, was performing Journey's hits with breathtaking precision. His voice was uncannily similar to Perry's. Spellbound, Schon ended up watching more than 40 of Arnel's performances. "I didn't think it was that crazy," he later said. He was singing all these. Though he sang songs in English, doubts lingered. Could someone virtually unknown and from halfway across the world truly uphold the weight of Jury's legacy? When Schon presented the idea to the band, it was met with hesitation. Keyboardist Jonathan Cain voiced the group's concerns. Did he speak English? Had he ever performed on stages of their caliber? Could they really just throw someone like that into their high-pressure world? The band debated intensely. It was a huge risk, one that could either breathe new life into their music or mark the end. Still, Schon couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled upon something extraordinary. Driven by that instinct, he tracked down Nel Gomez, the friend who had uploaded the mysterious singer's videos, and secured his contact details. With a mix of hope and uncertainty, Schon sent an email, one that would ultimately alter the course of both his and Arnold's lives. What Schon didn't yet realize was that Arnel Pineda's journey to this point had been as remarkable as it was heartbreaking. Born on September 5, 1967, in the crowded Sampaloc district of Manila, Arnold's early life was shaped by hardship. At age 13, he lost his greatest supporter, his mother, leaving the family mired in debt. With his father unable to find steady work, Arnold dropped out of school and was left to fend for himself. For 2 years, he lived on the streets of Manila, sleeping on park benches and in front of public buildings. Homeless and alone, he survived by taking on whatever odd jobs he could find. Collecting scrap metal and singing for spare change, Arnold never imagined that one day he would grace some of the world's grandest stages. In the beginning, survival was his only focus. He often slept outside friends' homes, using scraps of cardboard for shelter. To eat, he scavenged for bottles and metal, selling whatever he could just to afford a small pack of biscuits. Life in one of Asia's toughest cities was an unrelenting struggle. On a particularly rainy night in 1981, 13-year-old Arnold curled up under a damp piece of cardboard in a park, his stomach aching from nearly 2 days without food. As luxury cars glided past, he quietly sang to himself. Music was his only comfort, the one flicker of light in a bleak world. By the age of 15, his extraordinary voice began to draw attention, and he started performing with local bands, clinging to the dream that music could be his path out of poverty. But Manila's music scene was brutally competitive. Every small success was fragile, constantly at risk from illness or financial strain. By 2006, after years of performing cover songs in dimly lit, smoke-filled bars with his band The Zoo, Arnold was exhausted. The grind of late nights, small crowds, and dwindling hope had worn him down. During one especially disheartening performance, the club owner abruptly cut the power and snapped, "Nobody wants to hear that old music, play something modern or leave." Arnold didn't know it then, but that painful low point was about to become the turning point in his life. Arnold had reached a breaking point. One night, he came home and told his wife he was finished with music. Years of relentless struggle, constant disappointment, and gigs that led nowhere had left him drained and defeated. He was ready to give up on his dream. But fate had other plans. Just a week later, an unexpected email arrived, from none other than Neil Schon of Journey. At first, Arnold thought it was some kind of prank. When my friend forwarded it to me, I just laughed, he remembered. But as reality sank in, so did the enormity of the opportunity. This wasn't just another audition, it was a chance to join one of America's most iconic rock bands. Soon after, Arnold boarded a flight to San Francisco with his manager, Bert DeLeon. He stepped onto that plane with cautious hope, not knowing what lay ahead, only that this could be the moment he had spent his entire life chasing. But the path forward was far from a dream. The cultural shock was immediate and intense. The language barrier, the dizzying pace of American life, and even simple daily tasks like ordering food or navigating the streets felt overwhelming. Meanwhile, doubt simmered behind the scenes. His new bandmates couldn't help but wonder, could he keep up with the demands of a grueling tour? Could he understand and speak English well enough? And most of all, could he truly fill the shoes of the legendary Steve Perry? The pressure was immense, and Arnold felt every ounce of it. As the days passed, a mounting sense of loneliness began to creep in. Arnel Pineda missed his family and the comforting rhythm of home. But everything shifted the moment he stepped on stage. "I get really hooked," he admitted in an early interview, describing the powerful and immediate connection he felt with the audience. His performances were charged with raw energy, and the fans responded with enthusiasm. Buzz started to build across social media. Against all odds, Arnold wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. On February 21, 2008, Arnold stood before a roaring crowd of 20,000 at the Vina del Mar Song Festival in Chile. His electrifying performance silenced skeptics and confirmed what fans across the globe were beginning to believe: Arnel Pineda had truly arrived. Yet with that success came tremendous pressure. He was now carrying the weight of Journey's legacy. The band knew nostalgia alone wouldn't be enough. They needed new music that could captivate longtime fans while attracting a new generation. When they entered the studio to record Revelation, the stakes were sky high. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, where one wrong move could jeopardize everything. But as the first familiar notes of Separate Ways echoed through the studio, Arnold's voice cut through, strong, soulful, and filled with emotion. Released on June 3, 2008, Revelation was initially met with skepticism. Some diehard fans doubted anyone could truly replace Steve Perry. Yet, over time, Arnold's passionate vocals and heartfelt delivery began to win them over, sparking renewed admiration and lively online debate within the fan community. The resurgence of Journey brought a wave of renewed energy. While some fans still held on to memories of Steve Perry, the numbers told a different story. Their album Revelation debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200, Journey's highest charting release since Trial by Fire. Within days, it sold over 336,000 copies, earning gold and eventually platinum status. Keyboardist Jonathan Cain expressed disbelief: "We recorded our greatest hits with our brand new singer from the Philippines, Arnel Pineda, and it's unbelievable when you listen to it." The album's success reopened doors that had long been closed, launching a massive world tour with sold-out shows across continents. In 2008 alone, Journey generated over $335 million in revenue. The band wasn't just making a comeback, they were soaring. At the center of this revival stood Arnel Pineda. In the Philippines, his rapid rise sparked national pride. Overnight, he became a cultural icon. News anchors teared up recounting his journey, and children in Manila's streets celebrated, inspired by someone who had once been one of them and was now commanding the world's biggest stages. Arnel wasn't just singing for Journey anymore, he was singing for his country. Suddenly, kids from the slums of Sampaloc saw a new kind of dream, one that looked and sounded like them. Then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo invited him to the presidential palace, calling him a national treasure, and declared, "Arnel Pineda's voice is bringing the Philippines to the world stage." From streets to stardom, Arnold's journey from poverty to international acclaim stands as a powerful testament to the resilience and talent of the Filipino people. Once a young boy who survived by counting biscuits to stretch his meals, Arnold would go on to record platinum-selling albums and perform before sold-out crowds across the globe. Yet, his success wasn't limited to the stage. Determined to uplift others, he founded a charitable organization dedicated to supporting underprivileged youth in the Philippines, offering them the very opportunities he once only dreamed of. A band's triumph and turmoil. Journey's revival roared into the spotlight with unforgettable milestones, including their celebrated performance at the Super Bowl 43 pre-game show in 2009. However, behind the scenes, storm clouds were gathering. Long-standing creative tensions between guitarist Neil Schon and keyboardist Jonathan Cain, both pivotal members of the band, began to surface. Schon, ever the passionate innovator, pushed for an evolving sound, while Kane, guided by his strong spiritual beliefs, leaned toward introspective and faith-driven music. What started as artistic disagreements gradually turned into deeply personal conflicts. Arguments flared over songwriting credits, set lists, and even tour logistics. At one point, Sean reportedly blocked Kane from Journey's official social media platforms, sparking fan speculation that the band was on the verge of breaking apart. Caught in the midst of this growing discord were other band members and millions of fans, all uncertain about what the future would hold. After a massive show in Chicago, where Journey performed for a crowd of 40,000, Arnel Pineda returned to his hotel room and quietly broke down. The weight of relentless comparisons to Steve Perry, the grueling pace of touring, and the mounting tensions within the band had worn him thin. That night, he called his wife and whispered, "I don't think I can do this anymore." Her voice, calm and steady, grounded him. She reminded him of everything he had already endured, the hunger, the heartbreak, the nights spent on park benches. "You survived that," she told him. "You can survive this too." The next day, Arnold walked into rehearsal with a quiet smile. He never spoke of quitting again. Over time, he became more than just Journey's frontman, he became the band's anchor. When friction arose between Neil and Jonathan, it was often Arnold who diffused the tension. His calm presence, forged through years of hardship, and his deep humility kept the group grounded, reminding them of all they had achieved, and all they stood to lose. 17 years after first stepping onto the stage with Journey, longer than Steve Perry's own tenure, Arnold had cemented his place as a rock legend. He recorded 4 studio albums with the band, led them through countless sold-out tours, and gradually earned the respect of even his harshest critics. But now, heartbreaking news has surfaced. Arnold has been diagnosed with a serious medical condition, the result of years spent pushing his voice to the limit, night after night. The soaring high notes that defined Jury's legacy were often delivered through pain and quiet endurance. Arnold never wanted to let the fans down. However, what many long feared has now been confirmed by medical experts: even the most powerful voice has its limits. Years of relentless strain had taken a severe toll on Arnold Pineda's vocal cords and overall health. Insiders revealed that he had been struggling to reach key notes during recent performances, frequently hiding his discomfort to avoid alarming the band or fans. The diagnosis comes at a heartbreaking moment, just as Jury was preparing for a major world tour, including a much-anticipated homecoming concert in the Philippines. Arnold's rise had transformed dreams across the slums of Sampaloc, where children began to believe that success could sound and look like them. Then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo even invited him to the presidential palace, calling him a national treasure and praising his voice for bringing the Philippines to the global stage. His journey from the streets to international stardom became a symbol of Filipino resilience and talent. Over the years, Arnold continued to inspire millions. The boy who once counted biscuits to survive was now producing platinum records and performing for sold-out arenas around the world. But Arnold wasn't just a performer, he gave back. He established a charitable organization dedicated to helping underprivileged youth in the Philippines, offering opportunities he once only dreamed of. Meanwhile, Jury's revival surged forward, marked by unforgettable milestones that cemented their place in rock history. Journey's performance at the Super Bowl 43 pregame show in 2009 was a high point in their public career, but behind the scenes, storm clouds were gathering. Creative tensions and personal challenges had been building for years, especially between guitarist and founding member Neil Schon and keyboardist Jonathan Cain. Schon, known for his fiery passion and drive to push the band's sound in new directions, often clashed with Cain, whose artistic vision was rooted in spirituality and introspection. What started as creative disagreements gradually became deeply personal, with disputes flaring up over songwriting credits, set lists, and even tour logistics. At one point, Schon reportedly blocked Cain from the band's social media accounts, fueling rumors that Journey was on the brink of collapse. Caught in the crossfire was lead singer Arnel Pineda. After a sold-out show in Chicago that drew 40,000 fans, Pineda returned to his hotel room emotionally exhausted. The constant comparisons to Steve Perry, the grueling tour schedule, and the tension within the band had worn him down. That night, he quietly told his wife, "I don't think I can do this anymore." Her calm and reassuring voice reminded him of all he had endured to reach this point: the hunger, the heartbreak, and the battles already won. Once a man who had known the cold isolation of park benches as home, Arnold Pineda had already survived the worst life could throw at him. "You survived that," she told him. "You can survive this too." The next day, Arnold returned to rehearsal wearing a quiet smile, and from that moment on, he never spoke of quitting again. Over time, he evolved into far more than just the frontman of Journey. He became the band's emotional anchor. When tensions arose between bandmates Neil and Jonathan, it was often Arnold's steady, humble presence, shaped by a life of survival and deep gratitude, that held them together. His humility reminded them not only of how far they had come but also of everything they stood to lose. 17 years after first stepping onto the stage with Journey, surpassing even Steve Perry's original tenure, Arnold had cemented his status as a rock legend in his own right. He recorded 4 studio albums with the band, led them through numerous sold-out tours, and gradually silenced even his toughest critics. But now, heartbreaking news has surfaced. Arnold has been diagnosed with a serious medical condition, the consequence of years spent pushing his voice beyond its natural limits. Night after night, he chased Journey's soaring, iconic notes, often through pain and silence, determined never to let the fans down. Medical experts have now confirmed what some suspected: even the most powerful voices have limits. Years of relentless strain have taken a harsh toll on Arnold's vocal cords and physical health. According to insiders, he had been struggling to hit key notes in recent performances, often dismissing the discomfort to avoid causing concern within the band. The diagnosis has arrived at a heartbreaking moment, just as Journey was gearing up for a major global tour, including what was meant to be a triumphant homecoming concert in the Philippines. For lead singer Arnel Pineda, performing in front of his fellow Filipinos had always been a cherished dream. "I just want to sing in front of my people," he once said, calling it the emotional highlight of his life. Now, that long-awaited moment hangs in uncertainty. Neil Schon, who discovered Arnold through a YouTube video back in 2007, is said to be deeply affected, not just as the person who gave Arnold his big break, but as someone who has seen the immense physical and emotional toll this journey has taken on him. The revelation that Arnold had been suffering in silence, pushing through for the sake of the music and the fans, has left those close to him stunned and heartbroken. As the band contemplates an agonizing decision about the future of the tour, and perhaps Journey itself, the world has begun to rally behind Arnold. Social media has flooded with support, with hashtags like #WeLoveArnold and #JourneyOn trending globally. Fans are pouring out stories of how his resilience inspired them in their own darkest hours. "Arnold's story got me through losing my job and almost my home," one fan shared. "If he could survive sleeping on park benches and still rise, so could I." Another added, "I've seen Journey live 12 times with Arnold. He gives everything he has every single night. The music world would be less without his voice and his heart." For Arnel Pineda, the man who once rationed crackers to survive, this may be the greatest challenge he's ever faced. The question now is not just about the tour, it's about hope, healing, and what comes next. The question now isn't just whether Arnel Pineda can keep singing for Journey, but whether the voice that once lifted him from poverty to the heights of global rock stardom will ever fully return. Yet, one truth remains clear: this is not the end, merely the beginning of a new chapter in a life defined by grit, grace, and an unyielding determination to defy the odds. As Arnold battles to regain his strength, Journey itself must face a deeper reckoning. The band's most serious threat may no longer be fading fame or vocal strain, but the risk of internal collapse. Can Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain overcome their differences before it's too late, or will pride and creative conflict unravel one of rock's most remarkable comebacks? As one anonymous band member put it, "We were dead in the water until we found that kid from Manila who saved us. Now, he might be the only reason we haven't completely fallen apart." That's the bittersweet irony at the heart of it all. For a band whose greatest anthem urges fans to "don't stop believing," Journey now faces its greatest challenge: finding enough faith in one another to hold on.